for it.
Alright, I hope you guys don't blame me for being hungry now, but I'm just going to try to get through this. I hope everybody is familiar with the show The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And in their one episode, Home is Where the Heart Attack Is, the Banks family puts Uncle Phil on a strict dietary and rigorous workout plan. However, he grows quickly impatient with it, and he bribes Will into buying him the greasy, oily foods that he'd be eating anyway. Unfortunately, Uncle Phil has a heart attack, thus the title of the episode. And when Banks' family joins him in the hospital, they are greeted by a doctor. The doctor says, "I'm Dr. Kevorkian," and everybody freaks out. And he said, "Not Kevorkian, Kevorkian with an A," and everybody's okay. So when I was younger and I saw that, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, I guess it sucks to have a weird name doctor. But then when I recently saw the episode again, I was like, that can't be it. So I looked up Kevorkian, and this grim topic came up. Euthanasia is the deliberate intervention in a life with the sole purpose of ending that life. 16% of physicians say that if given consent by the family, they would go ahead with the euthanization procedure, even if they thought it was premature. Now back to this Kevorkian guy. His name is Dr. Jack Kevorkian. He's also known as fondly as Dr. Death. He was a euthanization specialist, and he reported being a part of at least 130 assisted deaths. In 1998, he was charged with second-degree murder, and he served 8 years of a 10 to 25-year sentence. He was released on parole in 2007 with the sole caveat that he would not discuss or give advice on suicide to anybody. So there are different types of euthanization. Voluntary euthanization is when you get the consent of the patient and they say, yes, I want to end this, and go ahead and do it. Non-voluntary is when the patient's opinion is not available, so the family has to make a decision on their behalf. And involuntary is pretty much just murder, when the doctor just comes in and sticks it in you and you're done. Active euthanization is the lethal injection, which is usually a overdose of painkillers and sleeping pills. And passive is the classic do not resuscitate order, when they cut off life support and the patient dies more naturally. So obviously with death and with ending lives, there are some legal issues. In the US, the only type of euthanization that is ubiquitously legal is active voluntary, which means that the patient gives the doctor permission to cut off life support. However, in Montana, Oregon, and Washington, active voluntary euthanization, so assisted suicide, is also legal. Texas is the only state that allows doctors to have a say in the decision. Otherwise, it's up to the patients and their family. Across the world, euthanization is legal in Germany, Belgium, Switzerland, Albania, India, Bangladesh, Japan, Algeria, and Morocco. Japan has more regulations than other countries, such as the families need to have life insurance, or the patient needs to have life insurance so that his family has some kind of support after he's gone. So with the controversy, when asked in a Gallup poll if a person had an incurable disease and they got consent from the family, is it okay to euthanize this person? 69% of Americans said that's fine. But again, when they were asked if it was to relieve pain and suffering and the patient is the one to give the consent, 64% of Americans said that's fine. There are some issues with religious views, such as Christianity tends to be against euthanization, but there are some discrepancies based on the denominations. Hindus are generally against it also because it messes with the circle of life, like the reincarnation and everything. And Buddhists feel that only enlightened people should be allowed to choose their destiny because they are enlightened. So, Dr. Death, a majority of Americans say that death is not a crime. The Banks family and clearly the judicial system is against euthanization. What do you think?